rahmatullah. Should we start inshallah? طيب. بسم الله. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى أزواجه وذريته كما صليت على آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى أزواجه وذريته كما باركت على آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. أما بعد, tonight inshallah Saturday the 11th of Jumada al-Awwal 1437 matching the 20th of February 2016. Our first part of this session is as usual with Al-Imam Ibn al-Qayyim alayhi rahmatullah and his book The Disease and the Cure, and he continues to talk about the evil consequences of sins and disobediences. He says وَمِنْ عُقُوبَاتِهَا, from the punishments resulting from committing sins, أَنَّهَا تُعْمِي الْقَلْبِ, that sins and disobediences, they cause the heart to become blind. They blind the heart. فَإِن لَمْ تُعْمِهِ أَضْعَفَتْ بَصِيرَتَهُ وَلَا بُدْ. If the sins and disobediences do not blind the heart completely, then they will lessen, then they will weaken its insight, and there is no running away from that. لا بد. The heart, as the eyes see, the heart has basira, basar and basira, right? So basar, they use that for the eye, seeing. Basira, this is now the seeing of the heart, the comprehension and understanding, the insight of the heart. So if sins and disobediences do not blind the heart, then they will weaken its insight, its ability to see things as they are, its ability to comprehend things correctly. He said, وَقَدْ تَقَدَّمَ بَيَانُ أَنَّهَا تُضْعِفُهُ وَلَا بُدْ. It has been mentioned before, تَقَدَّمَ, it has preceded before, that it will weaken him. There is no doubt. Right? This piece has passed before. So some pieces you might see it to be like some sort of a repetition, but he goes further with more details, right? He elaborates, and as you can see here, inshallah, he says it has passed before that it was clarified, bayanu annaha tud'ifu, that it will weaken the heart, those sins and disobediences. فَإِذَا عَمِيَ الْقَلْبُ وَضَعُفْ, if the heart becomes blinded, becomes weakened, فَإِنَّهُ أَوْ فَاتَهُ, it will miss, the heart will miss مِنْ مَعْرِفَةِ الْهُدَى وَقُوَّتِهِ عَلَى تَنْفِيذِهِ فِي نَفْسِهِ وَفِي غَيْرِهِ بِحَسَبِ ضَعْفِ بَصِيرَتِهِ وَقُوَّتِهِ. He says إِذَا عَمِيَ الْقَلْبُ وَضَعُفْ, if the heart becomes blind and becomes weak, then the heart will miss from knowing guidance, from the knowledge of guidance, and from its power and strength to carry out what he knows to be guidance, right? في نفسه, within himself. This will be weakened within himself. وفي غيره, also regarding the others. Right? He will become weaker in terms of knowledge of the guidance, and he will become weaker in terms of applying it. That is pertaining to himself and pertaining to the others around him, according to how weak his insight and his knowledge or his power is. According to how weak his insight, this power of knowledge, and his the power of carrying out, applying what he knows to be guidance. He says, فَإِنَّ الْكَمَالَ الْإِنسَانِ مَدَارُهُ عَلَى أَصْلَيْنِ. the perfection of the human being. There is kamal, there is absolute kamal, absolute perfection. That's for Allah alone, subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the humans, they are upon different levels. And there are those who reach the level of perfection. Perfection meaning as a human perfection. So he says, the perfection of the human being, it revolves around two principles. So with these two principles you can tell, are you a perfect human being, complete human being, or you are deficient and lacking and behind, right? Two principles. معرفة الحق من الباطل, knowing the truth from falsehood. That's the first principle. For you to be a perfect human, you need to know the truth from falsehood. You need to be able to recognize truth from falsehood. وَإِيثَارُهُ عَلَيْهِ, and to prefer it over it. Preferring truth over falsehood. Yani knowing it and then choosing it. Knowing truth from falsehood, then choosing to follow the truth. He says, وَمَا تَفَاوَتَتْ مَنَازِلُ الْخَلْقِ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى فِي الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ إِلَّا بِقَدْرِ تَفَاوُتِ مَنَازِلِهِمْ فِي هَذَا الْأَمْرَيْنِ. The fact that the humans, they vary, the creation, the human beings, the created beings, they vary in levels and degrees with Allah in this worldly life and the next life, بقدر, according to the amount of them differing in their positions regarding these two affairs, recognizing the truth and preferring it over falsehood. وهما اللذان أثنى الله سبحانه على أنبيائه بهما. These two things, they are the ones that Allah praised His messengers with, His prophets with. In His statement, Ta'ala, Surah Sad, ayah number 45. Surah Sad, ayah number 45. It says, وَاذْكُرْ عَبْدَنَا أو عِبَادَنَا, mention our servants, Ibrahim wa Ishaq wa Yaqub. Ibrahim, Ishaq, Yaqub, alayhim salatu wasalam. He says, أُولِي الْأَيْدِي وَالْأَبْصَارِ, those who possessed power, those who possessed strength, and they possessed absar, insight, right? So they were powerful, they were mighty strong, and at the same time they had insight, they had knowledge, right? He says, al-aydi, they possess aydi, al-quwwa, al-qawiyu fi tanfidhi al-haqq. When someone is strong in establishing, in applying and carrying out the truth. Wal-absar, al-basairu fi ad-din. As for al-absar, the word absar here, it means the insight in the religion. فوصفهم بكمال إدراك الحق وكمال تنفيذه. He described them with perfectly comprehending the truth, kamal, perfect, idrak, comprehension, the truth, al-haq, perfectly comprehending the truth. وكمال تنفيذه, kamal, perfection, tanfidh, carrying out, executing, right? Executing, right? So Allah described them as such. وانقسم الناس في هذا المقام أربعة أقسام. The people have differed in this regard into 4 categories. فهؤلاء أشرف الأقسام من الخلق وأكرمهم على الله. So those, they are the most noble of the categories of the creation, and they are most honored with Allah. Those who completely recognize the truth from falsehood, they are able to distinguish this from that, and after they are able to distinguish it, they have the will power and they have the strength and the might to carry it out and to establish it. This is the highest level of people, most honored, most noble in the sight of Allah. القسم الثاني عكس هؤلاء. The second category of people, they are the opposite to these. من لا بصيرة لهم في الدين, those who don't have any insight, no knowledge in the religion. ولا قوة على تنفيذ الحق. They have no power to carry out, to apply, to execute the truth. You know the word تنفيذ here? تنفيذ, to execute, to carry out, to establish. Even those who use the computer, right? You want to execute, that's called تنفيذ, right? تنفيذ, right? That's how they use it in the Arabic. Now they took execute and they put it there, even as a terminology for the computers. تنفيذ. So this word is a good word to know. طيب. So they do not know the truth, they don't have the power or strength to carry it out. وهم أكثر هذا الخلق. They are the majority. أكثر. We learned, for those who were yesterday here, كثير and أكثر, right? Most. They are the most of the people, right? Most of the creation. He says الذين رؤيتهم قذى العيون وحمى الأرواح. Those whom seeing them is like dirt of the eye, dirt in the eye, and fever for the soul. You know, you have the fever of the body, right? Those people, seeing them is the fever of the soul, right? سقم القلوب, sickness for the heart. يضيقون الديار, they make the lands narrow, too restricted. ويغلون الأسعار, they make the prices of the commodities expensive. ولا يستفاد بصحبتهم إلا العار والشنار. You do not benefit from accompanying them except shame and disgrace, right? والعياذ بالله. This is the majority of the people. And I remind you, and if you remember the tafsir of al-Mu'awwidhatayn by al-Imam Ibn al-Qayyim, he was talking about mingling with people, and he mentioned that there are 4 kinds, right? Those who are like غذاء people, they are like غذاء, they are like food and nourishment. These are the scholars who benefit you, right, in your deen. It's like food and nourishment. And also, you don't eat 24/7. You only eat when you need to eat, right? You nourish yourself. غذاء. And there are those who are like الدواء. They are like a medicine, right? Like medicine. So you mingle with them according to how much you need. You don't need medicine all the time, right? Those are the rest of the people other than the scholars. You need to buy your bread from someone. You have to mingle with that bread maker. You need to go to the store. You need to do some business. You need to deal with the teacher of your son. You need to so on and so forth. You dawa. You just need it like the medicine, right? And there are those who are like الداء والعياذ بالله, like a disease, right? The minute you get closer, something happens. You know, you're getting diseases from them والعياذ بالله, right? And those are the people who are harmful for you in your deen and your dunya, right? They waste your time, they cause trouble, and so on and so on. And there are those whom mingling with them is like, they are like poison, right? Sum naqi', right? They are like a poison. And these are the people of innovations and heresies, Ahlul Bid'ah wa Dalal, right? So غذاء, food and nourishment. دواء, medicine. داء, sickness or يعني disease. And sum, that's poison. والعياذ بالله. Right? So here he says those people, it's because of them that, meaning because of, remember before, barakah, blessings, and everything that Allah loves and brings closer to Him. The further you get away, then you get a share of the opposite of blessing, and that is the curse. That's why he's saying here, they are the ones who make the land of Allah, the spacious land, they make it narrow and restricted, right? Because of them, the prices of the commodities go up, right? Because of their problems. They are the ones who cause this as a punishment, right? So this is the case. القسم الثالث, the third group, من له بصيرة بالحق ومعرفة به. The one who has knowledge and insight about the truth, right? They have true knowledge of the truth and they recognize it. لكنه ضعيف. But this type of people, they are weak. لا قوة له على تنفيذه ولا الدعوة إليه. He has no strength, no power to carry it out على تنفيذه ولا الدعوة إليه, and not to call to it, not to invite to the religion. He said وهذا حال المؤمن الضعيف. This is the condition of the weak believer. He knows the truth, but he doesn't have the guts to establish it. والمؤمن القوي خير وأحب إلى الله منه. The strong believer is better and more beloved to Allah than him. القسم الرابع من له قوة وهمة وعزيمة. The one who has strength, the one who has intention, strong intent, and he has willpower. لكنه ضعيف البصيرة في الدين. But he is weak in knowledge, in the knowledge of the religion. ولا يكاد يميز بين أولياء الرحمن وأولياء الشيطان. He hardly can differentiate between the allies of Ar-Rahman and the allies of Satan. بل يحسب كل سوداء تمرة. You might want to write this one down. He brings from the Proverbs, the Arabs. يحسب, he thinks, كل, every, سوداء, black thing, تمرة, a date, right? يحسب كل سوداء تمرة. Anything black, oh, date, piece of date. يعني he doesn't recognize. وكل بيضاء شحمة. He thinks every white thing is like fat. You know how the fat of the meat, it brings the taste, right? That's why your shawarmas that you eat, they stuff them with fat on top, even if the meat doesn't have fat. They borrow fat from another type and they put it on top. Right? You know that. So this person, he thinks every white piece is a shahma. This is a piece of fat now. It's going to make the food tastier. يحسب الورم شحما. He thinks that waram is tumor, right? It's just a lump of tissue. You know how sometimes in the meat you find that. You chew. This is not meat and it is not fat. Just a lump of tissue together. That's a tumor, right? So, يحسب الورم شحما. So these tumors, these lumps of tissue, he thinks, oh, it's fat. والدواء النافع سما. He thinks that the beneficial medicine, he will consider it to be a poison. Right? So this person is reversed. Yani knowledge-wise, there is nothing. Right? He says, وَلَيْسَ مِنْ هَؤُلَاءِ. Although he wants to carry out the truth, right? He wants to establish it, but then the wrong way. Right? وليس من هؤلاء من يصلح للإمامة في الدين ولا هو موضعا لها سوى القسم الأول. There is none of those who are fit to be leaders in the religion, and nor any one of them would be a place, يعني, taking this position, يعني, a place or qualified to take this position, except the first category. Those who have knowledge and they have the might and the willpower and the strength to carry out the truth within themselves and within the others. قال الله تعالى, Allah Ta'ala said, this is Surah As-Sajda, ayah number 24. Sajda, ayah number 24. وَجَعَلْنَا مِنْهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا لَمَّا صَبَرُوا وَكَانُوا بِآيَاتِنَا يُوقِنُونَ. This is from Surah As-Sajda, usually it's recited every Friday morning in Salatul Fajr. It says, and we made of them imams guiding by our command when they were patient, and they used to be certain, they used to have certain belief in our signs or our verses, right? So here they were patient and they had certainty of faith, right? He says, أخبر سبحانه, he mentioned here subhanahu wa ta'ala, he reported that بالصبر واليقين نالوا الإمامة في الدين. Right? He put a statement that rhymes, بالصبر واليقين, with patience and certainty of faith, نالوا, they achieved الإمامة, leadership in the religion, في الدين. بالصبر واليقين نالوا الإمامة في الدين. Right? وهؤلاء, these are the ones, or those are the ones, هم الذين استثناهم الله سبحانه من جملة الخاسرين. Those, they are the ones whom Allah made an exception from them, from the general or the generality of the losers. خاسرين, right? فائزين خاسرين. فائز خاسر. You remember those words, inshallah. وأقسم بالعصر, Allah made an oath by al-asr, the time, الذي هو زمن سعي الخاسرين والرابحين. He made an oath by the time, which is the time of labor, time of working, for both khasirin, losers, and faizin, winners. Rabihin, he used the word rabihin. Rabih, ribh is profit. Rabih is like faiz, right? طيب. So he made an oath by the time, which is the time frame for working for both the winners and the losers, the profitable ones and those who lose, على أن من عداهم فهو من الخاسرين, that anyone other than them, he is from the losers. Then he mentioned Surah Al-Asr. Allah Ta'ala said, Wal-Asr, by the time, surely humankind, إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ, the humankind is at loss, right? The humankind is at loss. So everybody is a loser, right? Everybody is a loser, except إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, except for those who believed, did righteous deeds, commanded one another or counseled one another to the truth, and counseled one another to patience. Surah Al-Asr, verses 1 to 3. He says, فَلَمْ يَكْتَفِ مِنْهُمْ بِمَعْرِفَةِ الْحَقِّ وَالصَّبْرِ عَلَيْهِ. He did not suffice. He, subhanahu wa ta'ala, did not make it enough from them that they know the truth and be patient upon the truth. حتى يوصي بعضهم بعضهم, up until they until they command, until they counsel one another with it, ويرشده إليه, and guide one another to it, ويحضه عليه, ويرشده إليه ويحضه عليه, and encourage one another to it. So you may know the truth and be patient in following it, but that's not sufficient. You have to command, you have to call, advise one another and guide one another, encourage one another to it. وَإِذَا كَانَ مَنْ عَدَى هَؤُلَاءِ خَاسِرًا. If anyone other than those that the exception is made for, if everyone other than those, they are losers, خاسرًا, فمعلوم, then it is well known, أن المعاصي والذنوب تعمي بصيرة القلب, that sins and disobediences, they blind the insight of the heart, فلا يدرك الحق كما ينبغي. So the heart does not comprehend the truth as it should be. وتضعف قوته وعزيمته أو تضعف قوته وعزيمته فلا يصبر عليه. They weaken his strength and his willpower, so he does not become patient. The person does not become patient to follow it, to be upon the truth. بل قد يتوارد على القلب حتى ينعكس إدراكه كما ينعكس سيره. He said, rather, this might come again and again upon the heart, yani this issue of the sins affecting the heart, that is, up until his comprehension, it flips, it reverses, like his walking on the path will reverse. Imagine someone is going through, walking to a destination, now he makes a U-turn and now he's back, right, away from the destination. فَيُدْرِكُ الْبَاطِلَ حَقًّا وَالْحَقَّ بَاطِلًا. Now he comprehends the falsehood to be truth and the truth to be the falsehood. وَالْمَعْرُوفَ مُنْكَرًا وَالْمُنْكَرَ مَعْرُوفًا. What is well known to be good, he recognizes it to be evil, and he recognizes the evil to become something that is good and well known. فَيَنْتَكِسَ فِي سَيْرِهِ. So he will reverse, he will flip in his walking on the path. وَيَرْجِعَ عَنْ سَفَرِهِ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَالدَّارِ الْآخِرَةِ. He reverts from his travel to Allah and the next life. إِلَى سَفَرِهِ إِلَى مُسْتَقَرِّ النُّفُوسِ الْمُبْطِلَةِ. Rather, he will be now treading the path, walking towards the abode of the souls that are upon falsehood. التي رضيت بالحياة الدنيا, that which accepted, they were pleased with the worldly pleasures, واطمأنت بها, found comfort and tranquility in them, وغفلت عن الله وآياته, they became heedless from Allah and His signs, وتركت الاستعداد للقاء, and they left preparing themselves to meet with Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, ولو لم يكن في عقوبة الذنوب إلا هذه العقوبة وحدها لكانت داعية إلى تركها والبعد منها والله المستعان. If there is nothing in the punishments of sins, there was nothing but this one punishment alone, right? Then it would call one to leave committing sins and to stay away from committing sins, and from Allah we seek the help. Imagine, that one will flip, right? And this is a very severe punishment. Very severe punishment, والعياذ بالله. وهذا كما أن الطاعة تنور القلب وتجلوه وتسقله. He said, this is like the obedience also. It will light up the heart. It will clear the heart up, and it will shine him. It will shine the heart. وتقويه وتثبته. It will strengthen him and make him firm. حتى يصير كالمرآة المصقولة في جلائها وصفائها. Up until the heart becomes like the mirror that is completely shined and cleared up in its clarity, in its purity. فيمتلئ نورا. So it becomes filled up with light. فإذا دنا الشيطان منه أصابه من نوره ما يصيب مسترق السمع من الشهب الثواقب. He said that if the shaitan comes closer to him, the owner of this heart, right? If the shaitan, Satan, gets closer to him, he will have of its light. Yani the light of this heart will hit this shaitan أصابه من نوره, and it will do like what the one who from the Satans is trying to hear, trying to snatch some information, and then they get a shooting star, right? Shihab Thaqib, shooting star getting at them, right? And this is before the Bi'tha, before the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ became a prophet. That's one of the things that happened, that the shayateen, they used to try to lend an ear, right? Try to steal some pieces of the information from the sky when the revelation comes down. But then they tried to do that, and they get a shooting star hitting them, right? So they couldn't, right? Right now they might steal information that is already available on earth, right? From the qareen, the companion, or from maybe they will get some, right? So he says the owner of this heart, if the shaitan tries to come close, then that light of his heart, right, it will hit that shaitan. It will do like a shooting star, hitting the shaitan that's trying to steal some of the pieces of the revelation, or some of what is revealed, or some of the news from the sky, right? It says here, he says فَالشَّيْطَانُ يَفْرَقُ مِنْ هَذَا الْقَلْبِ أَشَدَّ مِنْ فَرَقِ الذِّئْبِ مِنَ الْأَسَدِ. The shaitan is so much terrified, so much scared from this heart, like, or even far worse than the wolf being scared of the lion. Dhi'b is the wolf, right? And al-Asad is the lion, right? And you know the hadith, مَا ذِئْبَانِ جَائِعَانِ, the hadith of the two hungry wolves, right? ذِئْبَان, Dhi'b is one, ذِئْبَان is two, wolf. So the shaitan is so scared from the owner of this heart, to a point that it says it is far scarier to the shaitan than how the wolf is scared from the king of the, right, the lion, the king of the forest. حتى إن صاحبه لا يسرع الشيطان فيخر صريعا. Look at this point now. Imam Ibn al-Qayyim, he says, to a point that the owner of this heart, right, he causes the shaitan to fall down, like the opposite. Now every day, every time somebody gets sick, somebody has some redness on the cheek, or becomes yellow a little bit, or he has this, or jinn, maybe there is jinn, or everything is like that. Many people are so much scared of this. He says this is the opposite now. He says that the owner of this heart causes the shaitan to fall down, yusra, becomes epileptic, right? فَيَخِرُّ صَرِيعًا, he falls down to the ground epileptic, right? With epilepsy. فَتَجْتَمِعُ عَلَيْهِ الشَّيَاطِينَ, the Satans, they gather together around him. فَيَقُولُ بَعْضُهُمْ لِبَعْضٍ, so some of them say to the others, مَا شَأْنُهُ, what's wrong with him? What's his affair? فَيُقَالْ أَصَابَهُ إِنسِيٌّ وَبِهِ نَظْرَةٌ مِنَ الْإِنسِ. They say he was hit by a human, right? And he has the look, he got the look from the humans, right? As opposed to, as I'm telling you now, if you get a small headache, oh, let's go to the Raqi, maybe I have something in me, right? He says فَيَا نَظْرَةً مِنْ قَلْبِ حُرٍّ مُنَوَّرٍ يَكَادُ لَهَا الشَّيْطَانُ بِالنُّورِ يُحْرَقُ. He says, what a look from a great from the heart of a free person, noble person, heart that is lit up, munawwar, right? يكاد لها الشيطان بالنور يحرق, is the shaitan is about to be completely burnt by the light of that heart, that is. He says أفيستوي هذا القلب وقلب مظلمة أرجاؤه. Would this heart be equal to a heart that the different parts of it are completely dark. مختلفة أهواؤه. Its desires, the desires of that heart, even the desires are conflicting and contradicting with one another. Right? قد اتخذه الشيطان وطنه. Shaitan has taken that heart as his homeland, watan, right? وأعده مسكنه. He prepared it to be his home, his house. إذ تصبح بطلعته حياه. Whenever he wakes up in the morning and he sees him, he will greet him, right? He will greet him. وقال فديت من قرين. يعني I ransom you, O companion. يعني I will save you with my life. لا يفلح في دنياه ولا في أخرى. Who is never successful. I ransom you. You, O companion, who is never successful in his worldly life nor in his next life. Right? And he mentioned two lines of poetry that say قرينك في الدنيا وفي الحشر بعدها. He says how they are going to be so much befriending one another, companions of one another. He says, your companion, right, your comrade in this worldly life, and وفي الحشر بعدها, and on the day of gathering after that. فأنت قرين لي بكل مكان. You are my comrade, personal comrade, everywhere, right? Escorting him wherever he goes, he's with him. They never depart. فإن كنت في دار الشقاء. So if you are surely going to be in the home of the wretched, miserable people, شقاء, فإنني, so I am surely, وأنت, and you too, جميعا. See, جميعا, again it shows up, all together, all together, في شقا وهوان, in wretchedness and in despise. Right? قال الله تعالى, now he will mention from the Qur'an, Surah Al-Zukhruf 36 to 39. By the way, Surah Al-Zukhruf, there is the tajweed recitation by the Sheikh Mahmoud Khalil al-Husari rahimahullah. If you didn't listen to that tajweed, try to listen to it. It's so much good. Yani. They just call tajweed just tartil, but the slower type of tartil, right? It says, and they put it now I think in HD, so it's very fine, the sound they made it much better. Yeah. It says وَمَنْ يَعْشُ عَنْ ذِكْرِ الرَّحْمَنِ نُقَيِّدْ لَهُ شَيْطَانًا فَهُوَ لَهُ قَرِينٌ. يَعْشُ, the one who becomes blind. Asha and Asha, this is when you have your sight dim-sighted. You know how night blind, there are people who are night blind. This is what it is. Asha meaning his eyesight drops down so much. So this one is, the eyesight is dropping down from the remembrance of Allah, right? وَمَنْ يَعْشُ عَنْ ذِكْرِ الرَّحْمَنِ, the one who is blind from the mention, the remembrance of Ar-Rahman, the most merciful. نُقَيِّدْ لَهُ شَيْطَانًا, we will assign, we will destine for him a Satan. فَهُوَ لَهُ قَرِينٌ, so then he is going to be his companion. وَإِنَّهُمْ لَيَصُدُّونَهُمْ عَنِ السَّبِيلِ وَيَحْسَبُونَ أَنَّهُمْ مُهْتَدُونَ, and they surely turn them away from the path, from as-sabil, the way. وَيَحْسَبُونَ, while they are thinking that they are guided. أَنَّهُمْ مُهْتَدُونَ. حَتَّى إِذَا جَاءَنَا, up until when he comes to us. قَالَ, he says, يَا لَيْتَ بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَكَ بُعْدَ الْمَشْرِقَيْنِ, I wish that between me and you there is the far distance that is like the one between the two easts. فَبِئْسَ الْقَرِينَ, how evil of a comrade, how evil of a companion you are. وَلَنْ يَنْفَعَكُمُ الْيَوْمَ إِذْ ظَلَمْتُمْ, and today it will not benefit you, since you have wronged, you committed wrong, ظلمتم أنكم في العذاب مشتركون. It will not benefit you today when you have wronged, when you have committed wrongs, that you are sharing the torment. It will not benefit you today, since you have been wrong, right, that you are sharing the punishment. Surah Az-Zukhruf 36 to 39. These are verses 36 to 39. And the one who turns away from the remembrance of Allah becomes blinded from that, right? Then Allah, as a punishment for him, He assigns, appoints, destines for him a shaitan that will accompany him wherever he goes, right? Turning them from the way, that shaitan turning him from the way while he's thinking that he is guided, right? And then they get to know the reality of that when they come to Allah, حتى إذا جاءنا, up until they come to us. Now they discover that they were in the wrong direction. Here he explains those verses. يقول فأخبر سبحانه أن من عشى عن ذكره. Allah informed that the one who is blinded, right, whose eyesight is dropped, right, from mentioning Allah, عن ذكره وهو كتابه الذي ينزله على رسوله, from our remembrance, that is his book which he sent down upon his messenger. So this person is blind from the Qur'an, the remembrance of Allah. فأعرض عنه وعمي عنه. So he turned away from it and he became blinded. يعني he was blind towards the Qur'an. He doesn't see the Qur'an and doesn't benefit from it. وعشت بصيرته عن فهمه وتدبره ومعرفة مراد الله منه. His knowledge has become so weakened, exactly like the person who is night blind. At night he cannot see. This person is the same. His knowledge has become so much weakened, it dropped so much down from understanding it, from reflecting upon it, and from knowing what Allah intended by it, by the Qur'an. فَقَيَّضَ اللَّهُ لَهُ شَيْطَانًا. Allah destines, Allah appoints for him a Satan, عُقُوبَةً لَهُ بِإِعْرَاضِهِ عَنْ كِتَابِهِ, as a punishment for him because of turning away from his book. فَهُوَ قَرِينُهُ الَّذِي لَا يُفَارِقُهُ. So then he is his companion, his comrade, who never departs from him, في الإقامة ولا في المسير, not while he is residing and not while he is traveling. He is always with him. ومولاه وعشيره. He is his ally. He is his ashir. Ashir is the one you mingle with, your acquaintance, that your comrade, your buddy, right? Ashir, the one you are always with, right? الذي هو بئس المولى وبئس العشير. That is the worst of an ally and the worst of a person to mingle with. And he mentions a line of poetry, from ديوان الأعشى. رضيعي لبان ثدي تقاسما بأسحم داج عوض لا نتفرق. This line of poetry, it says that these two people, as if they shared the breast of one woman. رضيعي لبان. You took from this milk and he took from the same milk. رضيعي لبان. So this is in the Arabic. If they want to talk about two people, you know how they always go together, they come back together, they do this together, they're very close friends. They say رضيعي لبان. Both of them, shared the breast of one woman, right? رضيعي لبان. So those people, he says, him and his shaitan, they're like this. right? They shared the same breast. ثدي تقاسما, they made an oath. بأسحم داج, they made an oath between them in a night that is a dark night. يعني a night that has no moon, as they say. Right? They made an oath that surely, عوض يعني here is surely emphasizing, right, this oath that لا نتفرق, we will never split away from each other, right? ثم أخبر أن الشيطان يصد قرينه ووليه عن سبيله الموصل إليه وإلى جنته. Then he informed subhanahu wa ta'ala that the shaitan, Satan, he turns his companion and his ally from his way, the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the way that makes one reach him and reach his paradise subhanahu wa ta'ala. ويحسب هذا الضال المصدود أنه على طريق هدى. And this person who is dal, misguided, masdood, being turned away from the right way, actually he thinks that he is على طريق هدى, upon the guided path, upon a path of guidance. حتى إذا جاء القرينان يوم القيامة, up until when the two companions come on the day of judgment. يقول أحدهما للآخر, one of them will say to the other, يا ليت بيني وبينك بعد المشرقين, I wish that between me and you there is the distance that is between the two easts. فبئس القرين وأنت لي في الدنيا, how evil of a companion you are to me in the worldly life. أضللتني عن الهدى بعد إذ جاءني, you caused me, you misled me, you misguided me from the truth after, from the guidance after it has come to me. وصددتني عن الحق وأغويتني, and you turned me back from truth and you seduced me. أغويتني حتى هلكت, up until I got destroyed. وبئس القرين أنت لي اليوم, and how evil of a companion you are to me on this day. He was a bad companion in this life and a bad companion in the fire. والعياذ بالله. ولما كان المصاب إذا شاركه غيره في مصيبته حصل بالتأسي نوع تخفيف وتسلية. He says, and since the one who has been hit with a calamity, مصاب, someone who went through a disaster, إذا شاركه غيره في مصيبته, if others shared with him his calamity, حصل بالتأسي نوع تخفيف وتسلية. Then, because others are sharing the same calamity, same problem, then by looking at others, they are also hit. This will serve to somehow console, right? You condole yourself with the fact that the others were hit with the same calamity. So there is achieved then some sort of reduction and some sort of tasliya, comfort, consoling, right? Consolation, some sort of consolation, because you see the others are hit too. You're not alone in this problem, right? Many times this happens. They say, look, we are with you in the same boat. Why are you, everybody's, right? So everybody's sharing the problem. So the calamity is somewhat reduced. Since this is the case, if you are sharing the calamity with someone else, you achieve some reduction, some consolation, some comfort, some ease. Allah says here, أخبر سبحانه أن هذا غير موجود. He informed subhanahu wa ta'ala that this is not found in this case. وغير حاصل في حق المشتركين في العذاب. It is not happening to those who are sharing the torment. وأن القرين لا يجد راحة. That the companion, he doesn't find any rest. ولا أدنى فرح. Not even the least of happiness. بعذاب قرينه معه. By the fact that his companion is being tormented alongside with him. وإن كانت المصائب في الدنيا إذا عمت صارت مسلاة. Although the calamities in this worldly life, if they are generalized, right, if they happen to many people or a large group of people or all the people, then they will turn into some sort of consolation, right? كما قالت الخنساء في أخيها صخر. Like Al-Khansa, she said about her brother Sakhr, right? This is from before Islam, right? And those wars that used to happen. Her brother Sakhr is well-known personality. She said, فَلَوْلَا كَثْرَةُ الْبَاكِينَ حَوْلِي. Were it not for the abundance, were it not for the many who are crying around me, على إخوانهم لقتلت نفسي. Were it not for the fact that there are so many around me who are crying about their brothers, then I would have killed myself. Her brother got killed in the war. So she's saying, were it not that there are so many are crying for their dead brothers, I would have killed myself out of sorrow, yani, for the death of her brother. She said, وَمَا يَبْكُونَ مِثْلَ أَخِي. They are not crying about someone like my brother. You know, her brother is always up. ولكن but أعزي النفس عنه بالتأسي. يعني I condole myself with this consolation, right? I condole myself. You know, the others are hit too. Look, the others are crying too. She's trying to bring some sort of consolation, some comfort. She offers condolence to herself with the fact that, you know, the others are hit too. She says, ألا يا صخر لا أنساك حتى أفارق عيشتي وورود رمسي. O Sakhr, I will never forget you up until I depart from my life and I go into my grave, right? He says, فمنع الله سبحانه هذا القدر من الراحة على أهل النار. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prevented, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala withheld this amount of rest, right? He withheld it from the people of the fire. He prevented it, prohibited it for the people of the fire. Even the fact that you are looking at the others being punished, you somehow become comfortable. It's not there. It's as if you are alone in this punishment. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. Allah says in Surah Al-Zukhruf, as the last ayah we read, وَلَنْ يَنْفَعَكُمُ الْيَوْمَ إِذْ ظَلَمْتُمْ أَنَّكُمْ فِي الْعَذَابِ مُشْتَرِكُونَ. It will not benefit you today since you have been wrong, since you have committed wrong. Then it will not benefit you that you are sharing the punishment. So this is